put this in the system. And I can easily do this. One small and then all of a sudden they took it off. And no one in the municipality does this. Pretty quick. It's pretty good.
I'll have to check it out.
Morning all, welcome to Tourism and Occupancy for June 26, 2024. Can I get a motion to accept the minutes of the May 21st meeting? Mrs. Gerasi.
Procedo.
All right, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we're passed. We're moving along here. Privilege of the floor. Anybody out in the audience would like to come up and speak to the committee or say any comments at all? Seeing none, we'll move on. Now, we're going to make a little quick change to this agenda. I apologize, but a couple of things came into effect today, and I'd like to get it out. So I'm going to start with with Heather on occupancy tax.
So he's moving up on the discussion items for occupancy tax funds. All the supervisors have received an occupancy tax 3-month projection. And so this is based on what we've closed the books on to date. So this is as of April 30th, 2024. Book balance, just to give you an idea, everyone receives the monthly reports that comes out of the treasurer's office. In the Word document, there's an area for the occupancy tax, and this book balance comes from there. It is basically, it's at the end of that month. There are $3,754 and $3,754,766. That is at the end of April 30th, 2024. We then reduce it by the amount of the 1.5, which is the reserves. Then we do 3-month projections to keep track of cash flow. So based on prior years, we always do this based on prior years. So in 2023, May, June, and July, we received $1.1 million. So we make the projection that we're going to receive those same amount of dollars. The 3-month expenditures, that is based on us watching what is due in the office. It's both tourism and occupancy. So everything that comes out of my marketing budget, as well as occupancy tax dollars for contracts. It's not just event spending, it's also all the contracts that are in there, CVB, Lake George TV, so on and so forth. 3-month projection of $3.6 million. This number is normally not this high. It is this high at this time because in May, checks were distributed for the remaining amounts of the 25% of the 2023 receivables. So I want to make sure that you're all aware that that's almost a $2 million line item. So this normally is not the case every month. So this looks at this as a negative $281,345. Please don't be nervous. This is why we have reserves. We may or may not hit this, but this is how we monitor cash flow for the treasurers in conjunction with the treasurer's office. Are there any questions on this particular document? Yeah. Oh,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the 3-month expenditures include the distributions to the towns and the
Yes, it
village?
does.
It's okay.
correct. And that's because the monies went out in May. And so next month, you won't see that large dollar figure.
All right, any other questions? Because we've got a lot to cover today, so. All right, now I'd like to call the treasurer up. We're gonna move her forward to she's come up with a new plan that I think a lot of us, including most of the supervisors on this thing, are looking for a monthly tally of tax. Because we always hear we're taking in so much, but not knowing where it's going. So it started, she's got this for the last 3 months.
Right.
And I'll
Actually,
let you explain it.
sorry, actually, I was looking to do a treasurer's report. Just to kind of give an update to this committee, to the finance committee, et cetera. And Amanda helped me out with this 1-page document that Mike Swan used to do, and he used to do it just for the month of. We've been working with Heather again, I think sometimes I've been meeting with all the supervisors and we've worked through the report that Heather was talking about is our monthly budget variance analysis. And it's a lot of information, and I think sometimes people might find it a little overwhelming. So Heather's 3-month projection, I think, is an excellent it really gives you the picture as to where she is, and it does tie into that report. So that's great. So now Mike Swan, so the treasurer's report in the past historically has given you where we are at work at 1 month. What I did here, because we're the middle of June, excuse me, I gave you not only where we were at 4:30, but I also gave you 5:31 and then where we are at 6:21. This is the actual receipts to date, year to date. So for 4:30, and there's 2 portions. So this is literally the occupancy tax money that we receive in through the treasurer's department in hotels and short-term rentals. The top is total collections. So you'll see at 4:30, the total revenue we received was $557,000. Comparatively to the total revenue, same time, 2023 was 581. So we're down approximately $24,000 or just over 4%. If you look again in total for 531, we're up about 3.89%. To date, 621, literally last Friday, you'll see a spike, we're up almost 30%. And the reason for that, it's really a timing difference. So this year, 621 was on a Friday and we had a lot of receipts in last week. Last year, 621 was on a Saturday. So, and unfortunately, I was gonna try to get you 624, but we just didn't get all of the receipts in. We had a couple people out in the office yesterday. But that 29% is likely either timing or just that we've had a couple of good, weeks where we're receiving a lot of money in June. If I were to take that, so for example, 621, if I were to take that variance out just for that one day, for 621, we received, forgive me. So of the 1,000,001 that we have to date in the 621-24, literally on Friday, we took in $271,000. If I were just to do that apples to apples last year to this year, it brings us much more in line of a 2% increase comparatively. I just wanted to make sure people understood that. Then if you go to the lower half, that's just the short-term rental collections. And it's a good story with short-term rentals. For 4:30, we're up about 27%. As of 5:31, we're up 58%. And as of 6:21, we're up 62%. So again, Heather's all about cash flow, where we are to date and projections. This is actual receipts to date. Sure.
Is this the short-term rental because of Granicus? Is that what's the name?
No, not yet.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
That's gonna be in my regular treasurer's report. No, Granicus, just a quick update. Granicus hasn't started yet. They're still in the quiet zone where they're churning through all of the information. But yeah, no, this is just straight up short-term rental receipts. That's
The people that pay in for the short-term rental collections, do they file and pay monthly or quarterly or?
it's a lot of different scenarios. They're quarterly annual, they're quarterly. It actually is driven a lot by their sales tax decision, and then they generally apply in line with their sales tax reporting.
So they're different, yeah,
They're all different.
okay.
Oh, yeah, just one to answer your question. The state will take it monthly and quarterly, like my business used to do, January, February, March, send it all in April. So
Yeah.
that's why it's tough to calculate the months, but the way they're doing it now, we can get a little bit of an idea from the people that do January only and then
Right.
February only. So it's really a little bit confusing. And so it's really a 3-month spread. All right, thank you. Yes, go ahead.
No, sorry, that was actually a really good point that I didn't cover, so thank you for that. Anybody else?
Any other questions? Mr. Ross?
Just a quick question. Do you have an idea of the amount of delinquent that's out there?
So not yet with Granicus, that's gonna come. But hold on a second. So I put this together. I was hoping to give it the last time you asked about that. So delinquency right now, I think I had originally shared with you that we had about $500,000 in delinquency. we're whittling that down. To date, we've probably brought in about 200 hotels that are not compliant for years. In aggregate, estimating about a $350,000 delinquency. Right now, we've got an $80,000, looks like they're gonna pay us, the Mohegan's gonna pay us $80,000. Baymont at Wyndham's gonna pay us $40,000. Lake George Bears Den is in process, but their analysis looks to be $60,000, hopefully that we're getting in. Canoe Island Lodge, approximately 40. And the big one, it's unfortunate. So we're leveraging notices of determination, which is part of the local law, and Larry has helped out significantly with this. And we're basically, if you're late more than 2 reporting periods, you're gonna get a notice of determination go forward. And what that does is basically attaches to your property so that we used it with Mohegan and the Baymont because they were selling, it was imminent. But I think we may have, depending on the amount, we may have recourse to actually enter a lawsuit, or it just attaches to their property so they can't sell. What happens when someone sells their property? That occupancy tax transfers with the sale of the property, and we had two sales last year before I got here that unfortunately we didn't leverage these notices of determination in time. So when these sales were occurring, you didn't have those liens and you didn't know, and the lawyers didn't find or didn't ask whether or not there were OC tax. They asked about property tax, delinquency. They didn't ask about OC tax delinquency. So, 2 of those, one is Treasure Cove and the other is the Bears Den. And again, the Bears Den is about $60,000. The good news with the Bears Den is the people who bought it from him, they may have recourse. Treasure Cove is a very unfortunate situation because it's about $140,000. And I don't think the prior owner I don't think the current owner has any recourse, but we're working with them. We're trying to come out, to a workable solution. But the good news is we are collecting. So of that 350, we are halfway there.
So the current owners would be responsible for paying this? And the former owners, did they collect this and pocket it themselves?
I'm trying to figure that out, but I think the answer to that is yes.
Yeah,
I do
so
think
that was just like getting a raise.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Just one other question now, just so everybody understands, that number over here, 6/21/2024, we've collected 1,106,857.
That is correct.
That's correct.
That is-
Okay,
Yep.
thanks. That's just in case anybody had that in mind. All right, thank you. That's a great report. Any questions before she leaves? All right, thank you very much. That was very interesting this morning. All right, we're gonna move on to action agenda and business. The committee has to I'll let Heather explain this. Go ahead, Heather.
So the committee needs to review, needs to approve an application over anything that's asked for above and beyond $50,000. This was passed in a resolution 461 of 2023, section A, item 5, that requires the committee to approve the ability for an applicant to request amounts over $50,000. We currently have a request for 75. So the committee would need to approve that before we can hear the applicant.
And that's 75,000, not 50.
Mhm.
It's number B on there.
And here it's just about approving the ability to accept the application. It's no bearing on the award of the application or discussion within the application.
So is there any questions on what's coming up in the resolution? Seeing none. Go ahead with the next one you want. Now you need the resolution.
You need a committee approval in
Yeah.
order to move.
All right,
So I
need
don't
I need
hear
a
any-
committee to approve this before the resolution. So let's, anybody wants to make the motion to approve it? All right,
The committee is technically acting to accept the application because it's over $50,000. It's not
Okay.
approving the
I
application.
apologize.
All right.
Accept it.
Ms.
Thank
Runyon, you made the motion.
Yeah.
Do I get a second? Okay. Okay, let's see, Mr. Bean. Okay, Mr. Bean seconds it. Any questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, that part passed. Now we
Thank
move
you very
on.
much. So, if I could, Mark, if you have a moment to talk to the committee about this project that we are aware of, however, if you can educate us again, that would be very helpful.
Well, I'll start with wrapping up last year.
And if I may ask, would you mind going up so they can hear you? Thank you, I appreciate it.
I'll start with wrapping up last year because those of you who don't know me, I'm Mark Donahue. I am the president of the board of directors of the Adirondack Balloon Festival. Last year was our 50th anniversary, second oldest event in the nation of its size. And I just found out recently from the BFA that last year we became the second largest balloon festival. We were the third. We are now ahead of Reno, Nevada. Pretty good. Albuquerque won, Queensbury, New York two, Reno, size of Reno, Queensbury, pretty big difference. So that's pretty awesome. We added a gala last year on Wednesday evening. And Mark Mulholland from News Channel 13 was our MC, and he kicked off the night telling us, which was news to me too, that we had become the largest event in the entire capital region last year. Surpassing Tulip Fest and Lark Fest. So they consider us part of the capital region down there. So that's pretty good news too as well. We also added an event at the college last year, just for our old time's sake, because we had so many old pilots from the 70s come in. So we wanted something nostalgia. Chris Duffy wasn't too keen on us flying out of the college, unfortunately, so we couldn't do a flight out of there. So what we did is had a luncheon for our pioneer pilots at the college. So I figured we might probably have 10 of the pilots from the 70s there. Well, to my dismay, there was about 60 of them and their spouses, totaling about 120 people. So a lot more than we ever anticipated. So I'm going to give John the gift that we gave to those veteran pilots because it's very cool. It's a painting that Lynn Benevento did in 2011, and it's a shot she made up in her head, basically putting together all the old balloons that flew here in the 70s and put it in a poster. We had it as our calendar probably about 2012, I think. So I asked her if we could use it again, and we turned it into a print with the 50th logo on it, and we gave that to all the vintage pilots, many of whom their balloons were in that print. So that was pretty cool for them to see it and enjoy that. Friday morning, we always do a media flight that's not promoted to anybody. It's strictly for media. It's for ABC, WTEN, for CBS, for WRGB, for Capital News 9, for our Chronicle of the locals. It's to get ahead of time, get them in the air, get some live Albany feedback. Been a huge success over the years doing it. We've been doing it probably now 10 years. It's never promoted to the public because we want it very quiet. We don't want a lot of people there. So last year, we had so many pilots want to come to the gala. We had 40 balloons for the media flight when we usually have 10. So I'm scrambling, calling Kevin Hajo Thursday night saying, Kevin, get the supervisors out here. I can fly as many people as I want. This is a gift I'll never see again. So we did get the mayor up. City of Glens Falls mayor did get up. We got Don got up. And then we had a huge vacancy there. So we ended up flying 40 members of the EMS and fire departments.
Oh,
All got balloon rides Friday morning. You should have seen the smiles when they came back to that airport. They were glowing. And I was so blessed that we were able to do that. Other thing we did last year is we gave shirts to every county employee who worked at that field, every sheriff, every EMS, and every fire department, member of the fire department. All received a t-shirt from the festival last year. Thank you. And we hope we can afford to do that and keep that going this year. We were on the Weather Channel for 2 weekends before the festival last year. Saturday and Sunday, both weekends, airing 30-second spots all day and both weekends before the festival. New York Times Sunday edition did a feature on us in their travel edition the Sunday before the festival last year. Amtrak hung a banner in Penn Station for us last year. And New York State Thruway Authority put our brochures in every one of the thruway rest stops throughout the state. I don't think I could have paid to get any of that publicity or media right there for the county. We also renewed, kind of blushing because we didn't pay for it, We are on a mural in JFK Airport in the JetBlue terminal. So when you do the walkway, it's the Adirondack Balloon Festival you're looking at. It was there for 5 years and they decided to renew it, so it's gonna hang there for another 5 years. Lastly, the Balloon Federation of America is the advocacy and the know-it-all group who works with the FAA for ballooning in the US, but also internationally as well. They showed up in their gala last year, unbeknownst to us, and presented us with an award, my sister and I, with a National Directors Award for our volunteerism and community support. What they also did is featured us in their magazine last fall. So I've got a couple copies of that for you, Heather, that you can share. For those of you who don't know, we also did a book last year, a historical book on the festival. It's about 300 pages long. John has a copy. I brought 2 more copies for the supervisors. We're going to give it to Warren County Historical Society. Crandall Library has it. Chapman has it. So they're well distributed. And what it is it's a pilot memoir. Any pilot who's ever flown in this event could contribute to the book. And this was done by one of our volunteers. She spent 3 years. Her name's Amy LaPointe. She spent 3 years working on this, all volunteer time. And it became just an amazing book. It's a perfect coffee table book that you can pick up, read the whole thing, or just read 1 or 2 stories. It's really great. And also, I dragged back out of retirement Miss Lynn Benevento last year, because as many of you know, she closed her gallery and retired and has been traveling a lot. Well, I called her last winter. I said, I need a favor. Like, what? Can you do a painting of me, your rendition of the 50th anniversary? She hemmed and hawed, and her answer was no. She said, I'm retired. I haven't picked up a paintbrush in 2 years, Mark. I'd love to, but I couldn't. So we kept talking, so we had to catch up, and then said goodnight. 5 minutes later, she called back and says, I can't say no to you. Took her 6 months, but she did a painting that we saw auctioned off and raised almost $3,000 for the festival. So that's the kind of support that we love from people who love the festival. Another interesting point last year, and this is Kevin Hadros and his staff. They noted 46 different United States license plates at the Balloon Festival. 46 different plates. Pretty astounding. And one of them was even Alaska. We're a pilot here from Alaska last year, so that kind of is a recap of last year. I do have some gifts I'd like to give Eugene at the end, but I'll talk about this year a little more first. Last year, we spent $100,000 more than we normally do, all through our reserves, to be honest, because we were denied on our extra request for funding from occupancy tax. So we did it basically all on reserves. We ended up holding one of the largest galas Highland Park has ever had. About 500 people attended. It was sold out in 2 days. And it was the first moon glow balloon that's ever inflated at Highland before, and it was pretty spectacular. We will not be doing a gala this year, I'll tell you. We're scaling back to just a normal event. I say normal. We're hoping to have 80 to 85 balloons. Ballooning is in a difficult situation right now. Many of you may remember about probably a decade now, there was a horrible accident in Texas that killed the pilot and everybody in the balloon. It was about 16 people were killed. And then they found out that he was under the influence. No other balloon flew in the area that morning because of fog. And it was just a perfect disaster that was waiting to happen. So the FAA changed licensure requirements. So now anybody who wants to fly people for hire has to, for the first time, get a medical certificate, where in an airplane it was always required, in a balloon it was not required before. That's having a toll on the ballooning community, because believe it or not, the average age of the pilots that attend our event is in their 60s, which is not good. Because ballooning is a very expensive sport. And as people are phasing out, you're not seeing the same number of people phasing in. So we're in a downturn as far as the number of balloons in the northeast and central part of the US. Albuquerque area is still flourishing, and so is Reno, as far as younger people getting into it. But they can fly 12 months a year. We can't. We can fly 4 or 5 months a year here. So it's a very expensive sport to get into for that little bit of time for the year. we're gonna see that decline over time. It also has an impact on us as an event, because with a medical certificate, there's limitations that pilots may be required to have in order to fly. It might be somebody uses a cane, so they have to have a cane with it. It might be reading glasses. We now have that culpability of making sure pilots are adhering to their limitations, which has a whole new dynamic on liability and limitations. And the BFA is working on this because we still don't know, is it really our responsibility to make sure somebody's wearing their glasses to fly? If their license says so, it's more their own negligence if they don't, but we would have culpability as the event host. So the insurance companies are working with the BFA to work on things like that now. These are dynamics that the FAA didn't even think about when they issued these laws, the impact it would have on events and things like that. So otherwise, this year we have our dear friend Andrew Holly from Great Britain is coming back with 68 balloons, all special shapes that he makes himself. So that's going to be our big expense, shipping that over. A bit of a crisis we've had this year, and John and Heather are aware of this. Disappointing, but reality. We sent out RFPs to 29 hotels from exit 18 all the way to Lake George to 22 to be our host hotel. Now, Ramada exit 19 was our host hotel for years. We took the whole hotel as well as their conference rooms, took over everything for the weekend. We could not get anybody to commit to being a host for the event this year, period. The most we got was 4 hotels offering us 10 room blocks. Well, I need about 350 rooms just for the pilots. So that's not going to cut it. So we sent out a second RFP. No I followed it up visiting most every one of these hotels. And the answer I got was, Mark, we don't need to discount rooms for you because you sell us out at much higher rates. So unfortunately, most of the hotels don't want to discount their rates to help us because they're selling out because of the draw of the people we bring in. So that's caused a new dynamic for us. So we are not providing lodging to balloonists anymore. We can't. We don't have the rooms to do it. So what we're doing is what we did during COVID. With the help of Janelle and Public Health, what we decided to do is have the pilots make their own accommodations, and we give them a check at registration for the amount of what our average hotel would be. So the room blocks we got are anywhere from $219 to $289 a night per room. Not that long ago, we were paying $99 a night at Ramada for one room. Now we're paying $219 to $289 for one room. Big difference. So pilots are fine with this. They're all booking their own accommodations. We're just handing them a check when they come for registration. That's the only solution we can come up with. Unfortunately, that's going to impact this because we can't give you a hotel check to ask for reimbursement with, because it's going to be individual checks to the pilots. That's the best we can do to reimburse the pilots for the rooms. So that's going to be a new dynamic for us to have to deal with this year, but a lot less headache too. Just like everybody else in the room who's doing events like this, I can tell you it is getting harder and harder and harder to find volunteers to help. And since COVID, people just don't volunteer anymore. They're not volunteering. They're not out going to do things. And we really tested our own limits. We put on all these extra events last year with no extra help. We didn't have any extra volunteers or anything. We pulled it off, but at the expense of a lot of exhausted people. I put 1,500 volunteer hours into this event last year. 1,500 hours. So as you can probably tell, I was a little disheartened to know our request for 90,000 was denied. When I was told we were capped at 50, then I find out an event like George got 150,000. Well, I think we're the tried, true, proven, not for profit, and not a penny goes to a promoter for this event. That was quite the slap in the face, I have to tell you. And my whole team was totally disheartened by that. And we normally got 40,000. We ended up with 50 last year, but we had to get more light towers. So the net impact on our award for our 50th anniversary was less than our normal award because we had to pay more in light towers. So we also got acclimates from Lee Stefanik last year and Chuck Schumer, Dan Steck, and Assembly as well, all gave us proclamations. event. The governor wrote us a letter. So all well received and pretty honored to have all those responses from everybody, so. Robin, Kevin and I are starting to talk about this year. One of the big things we're already working on is RVs, believe it or not. Because of the solar situation, we're trying to find a new place for the RVs. They thought they had one, but I kind of squashed it yesterday. So we're back to the drawing board on where to put RVs. And the request for RVs is only climbing, not decreasing. There's more and more RVs that want to come every year. Other than that, we're probably on status quo with everything else. We are not also, the other RFP we put out was a pilot brunch for Sunday, we always do. And nobody would bid on that either, because nobody can handle 350 to 400 people that we need to host. So last year, we've done a barbecue at the airport for the balloonists and their families. So we're gonna bring back that barbecue and do that instead of the brunch and cancel the brunch altogether. Great Escape just was not in a capacity to do it. They've done it in the past, but they weren't willing to do it this year. So we were waiting on to see if they'd come through to do it for us. So other than that, these are pretty, gonna be a little quieter for 51. So, at the gala, we did present, we wanted this gala to be a community event. It was not meant to be a glorious $250 a ticket event. So our board decided we were subsidizing the gala, and we did that. We got the ticket prices down to $40. We wanted anybody in the community to be able to come, and boy, did they. So at that event, that was our opportunity to honor who we wanted to honor. And we have, believe it or not, sponsors who've been with us all 50 years. Glens Falls National Bank's been with us all 50. Harvest Restaurants been with us all 50. And Whiteman Chevrolet's been with us all 50. So we needed to do something for them. Because they're the first to, whatever we need, they're there. So we came up with the same gift we gave to them. We're going to present to the county today. That hopefully it'll go in the board room or it can be presented to the whole county when you have a board meeting. But this is a custom made gift. It was made by a gentleman all the way in Seattle, Washington. I found him by chance. A friend of his was working at a holiday store in a kiosk in Burlington, Vermont, and he made a smaller version of one of these things. And I just reached out to him and said, hey, can you do a grandiose version of what you did and make it very special? And he blew it out of the park. So this is the Balloon Festival's way of saying thank you to the county. I can't thank the directors of the county enough, Heather, Kevin, Robin, Janelle, Anne Marie. I mean, this event, I think we touch every part of the county in this event. And every one of them is always helpful and so outgoing to help us. It's just wonderful. So this is as much for them as it is for the supervisors, but our way of saying thank you. So I'll let you open it, Chief.
Well, Mark, can I speak out as the chairman? I'll tell you what, I've been sitting here for 19 years. That's the best presentation that I've ever heard. And it lets people know what you really are doing.
It's heart and soul. This event is heart and soul. It's not, there's no money in this for anybody.
I mean, it was,
I don't even get a balloon ride. I don't even do balloon rides anymore. So I don't even get solicited a balloon ride on it. So be careful. It's very fragile. Yes, please.
Yes, you got it, Bill. Mark, we left out suburban program.
I did, didn't I? Yeah. Thank you.
I was at the gala. It was very nice.
Did a good job.
They wrapped not only 10 of those, but 100 smaller ones for the pilots. So
Need scissors, Jean?
I didn't think so. Poor Heather, she cried.
Mark, does this come apart?
It should, yes, it's right in the middle of
Well,
that,
now.
probably taped.
Oh.
You need scissors?
We are-
Okay.
I would never have thought that.
Yeah.
Here, scissors.
Scissors be helpful? Here you go.
Sure.
Oh, that's beautiful.
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 So this is what he did for the pilots. He did a separate template, a smaller version of that with the name and 50 years on it. The pilots all got these, and we're gonna hang these in every director's office in the county. John has his already. Heather has hers for tourism, and I gotta get these to the rest of the departments as thank you to them too. So these came out really nice as well. And he also made, and we also do gifts for the pilots who do the moon glow for us. So we turned this into a trivet as well.
Oh,
And he
wow.
made, Paul got one as a gift from us. So the trivet came out gorgeous, and that's what we gave as the moon glow gifts for the pilots. So here's two of the books. Lots of color pictures. They're great books. And I'll also leave 2 copies of Ballooning Magazine that has our feature story in it. And this is the print I told you about. This is all the balloons basically from the 1970s. Like this guy is John Marsden. He came here in 1972. He's the one who put the balloon up at Queensbury School to introduce people to ballooning around here. This is the Spirit of Glens Falls 2 that came out in 79. That was one of the very first balloons here too, and Seagull was as well. So this went to all the veteran pilots. I'll give this to you, John, for anywhere you need space. It's a great print to hang.
Thank you so much, Mark. We really appreciate everything you do. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll give these Mark, these to you now.
Thank you so much.
All right, Mark, I tell you, it's impressive what you have done, and I'm really at awe. I'll be honest with you. So before we move on to the resolution, 75 enough.
No.
So this is up to this, maybe we'll pump that up a little if it helps you. And I'd be in favor of it. Take it out of the reserve if we have to. So how about 100?
We'd love that.
All right. Well, I'd like to make that motion.
Yeah, but you can't.
Can't, okay, wait a minute. Can't do it right now.
Unless you want someone else to.
Yeah, I can't do it. Once somebody else do it.
I'll do it.
Okay. That's good. All right, Runyon and Bean. Any questions on that from this committee? All in favor?
Well, I have a question.
Oh, you got a
Oh.
question. Go ahead.
Is this like a one-shot deal or is this something we're gonna look at every year?
I think right now it's gonna be a one-shot deal.
Okay,
All applications are annual,
yeah.
so they would have to, everyone would need to come back.
They have to come back.
And they would also have to apply like he did, because we're going over the $50,000 threshold.
Correct.
And so we're gonna expect anybody that comes in asking for more money to put on a presentation like this
And gifts.
and gifts.
All right, so we got a motion and a second.
Wanna
All in
make that
favor?
clear.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 If I may,
Opposed?
I always tell Lisa this too, is if we don't need the money, we're not getting asked, we're gonna voucher for less. A couple years ago, we did voucher for less because we didn't need it. Probably don't ever hear that as well either, but that's the case with us is all I want to have enough money to put on the next year. Because that's what scares me. If we have a hurricane Hugo, 1988, remember, the event was gone. We still have to pay for fixed costs. So we need to have enough money in the bank for fixed costs for the next year to save the event as a not-for-profit. That's just the basis. So if we don't need what we're awarded, we're not getting a voucher for it. That's just what we do. And we don't ever even ask for the money the prior year until just about now. We'd rather have you make the interest on it until we need to start paying bills for this year.
Thank you, Mark. Thank
All
you
right,
very
thank
much.
you, Mark, and I think this committee has really learned a lot, including myself. Yes,
Procedo.
Cito, yes.
Who?
Thank you. Thank you.
You on this
Mr. Chairman.
committee?
Mark, I just wanted to comment about the hospitality as a host hotel. The Lake George community, all the hotels appreciate so much, this event. We really do. But there's so much that goes into group and, group bookings and minimum lengths of stay and all of that. I know for Americade, we actually, because I'm owner of a few properties up there, we donate some rooms. So we would love to talk to you more and find a way to help. And I think Laura Coles might be spearheading this a little bit. So it's not that we can make more. Yeah, of course we can, but we also know the benefit of what you do. And just like some of the other groups. So let's continue those talks and
We could just get the majority of hotels that give us 10 rooms each.
10 rooms is a lot, but you could get a lot of hotels to give you 2 and to give a 10 for 20% discount. I'm not, you're gonna be hearing, I think, from us. You agree with that, Gina? I think Laura is putting something together. And
Yeah, I'll just say, we had a big discussion at our board meeting last week.
Yeah.
And to go back to the old model of where hotels would actually host a pilot to get that out of your budget.
Right.
And then those pilots would do something for the staff to teach them about ballooning. But the problem was, if you wanted to have a host hotel to take it up, like he said, that was really one of the issues that was discussed. But that coming back, to help with the pilot hospitality for a group event, we would work on that as a separate thing. And then this way pilots could be all over and have a conference day for the, so that.
It's
that was
just a
something we
thought,
wanted to
but
bring to the table.
let's continue discussions, but
Yes,
yeah.
I think we've kind of resolved that we'll try to keep pilot activities at the airport, which sucks though, is if it rains, the barbecue in the rain or a Friday night social in the rain after they fly, that's no fun. Nobody's gonna want to come for pizza or whatever after they've been driving all day Friday at the airport. They'd rather go into a conference room.
Yeah, there's only a few hotels that could host it,
Right.
So
Or the arena.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
we
I just
definitely-
wanted to touch base with you on that.
All right, Vinnie, so you'll follow up on
I
that,
will.
and let us know.
I will, yeah, I will.
All right, thank you again. We'll move on. We got one more
2 more requests here.
request.
Like we did. Okay. So we have 2 requests for, this is now tourism. We are looking to partner with Alon Tourism Solutions. They are a training, they're looking to train our businesses on international travel. I was going to present a lot of these, but in the fairness of time and the additional agenda items, we are already international. We did a great partnership. I do want to take time on this. We did a fabulous partnership with Glens Falls, a co-op version. We are in the UK version of National Geographic's, a full page or a spread, partnered co-opt with Glens Falls. We are heavily engaged in the UK market, but we need to work a lot closely with our businesses to help them be international ready. Some of them are, and just from a layman's terms, it's the difference between understanding the net, the gross, and discounted rates based on who you work with in the international market. So Jen Ackerson, who is with Alon Marketing, she has a lot of expertise over multiple decades of expertise in working with the international market and also working with destinations and helping these actual businesses. So she will be doing seminars as well as working directly with the businesses. And we're partnering with the CVB on this, and they will be able to provide us with the tools we need to then, when we talk to these businesses, instead of just passing them on to a tourism property, we also have that ability to assist those properties with these bookings. We currently have three organizations that we work with that actually have Lake George area as a destination on their itineraries within the UK and Ireland market. So that's this first resolution to authorize an agreement in the amount of $19,950 to Alon Tourism Solutions for training, consultation, and development of a virtual marketplace. And so they're going to work with the tourism department to prepare our businesses to be able to promote internationally to the travel market, both leisure and group, through a partnership with the CVB and tourism.
Any questions? I need a motion to accept this. All right, Ms. Runyon, Mr. Bean. Any questions at all? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed.
Okay, the second agreement is within our distribution channels. We work with an organization called New York Welcomes You. They go to large events, very similar to like a balloon festival, over hundreds, tens of thousands of persons throughout the eastern part of New York's, eastern part of the US, So he's not only in New York. The majority of his events happen outside of New York. And so this is to distribute and be a part of his distribution guide, as well as distribute our guides. He only represents 15 major destinations within New York State at 10 major East Coast market shows and events. This request is for $11,495 with New York Welcomes You for travel guide distribution. I will say, I neglected to say this before, this is in our budget, and so was the Alon Tourism Solutions as well.
We get a motion? Ms. Runyon, Mr. Bean, any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, turn the page.
Well,
All right, up
discussion
next is
ends up,
Lake George TV.
Done already, Pat.
And a girl.
Thank you all for your
That's
patience.
that next, you were paying attention.
Hello, everybody. Well, we're not here to ask for any money. We don't have any gifts. But we're loaded with hot air, so. But we do just fine. Thank you for letting us come in to give you an update on LakeGeorge.tv. It's a little over a year since we launched this thing, and the platform is thankfully performing much better than we expected. Some highlights. We have over 600 videos, or close to 600 videos on the platform already. We're tracking just as we should be. We've built some very solid relationships with the partners, meaning the businesses who are on the platform, including the balloon house, by the way. As well as the vendors that we need and the suppliers that we need to help keep this thing running and to maintain it. We've learned a lot in developing the relationships with partners. And also consumers, which I'm going to get into in just a minute. I want you all to know that the partners, the people who are present on the platform, are very appreciative of the effort. I can't tell you the number of times, maybe close to 600 times, we'll tell people about this thing. We'll say it's free, we'll say it's free, we'll say it's free. And they say, that's fantastic, how much does it cost? Then they finally come around to realizing that it is free. And they're very appreciative of the effort that the supervisors have made to provide them with a free marketing platform. And we're starting to hear that over and over again. We've got a bunch of testimonials. When Ed presents, he's going to just run through a couple of those. I do want to take a quick sidebar. I want to introduce Amanda Metzger, who is part of LakeGeorge.tv, running our social media platform. Ed Larkin, who's the executive VP and person that I lock arms with 25 hours a day to make certain that we keep this thing moving forward and live up to your expectations. Both of them are going to speak. We have 2.5 other people behind the scenes who are not here. You know what? We also produce a monthly newsletter that goes out to all of the business partners. So we're finding that that's helping build that relationship with all the businesses in Warren County. They know they can reach out to us at any time. They know that they can have a conversation with us and they can ask us all kinds of different questions. And we're the first ones to go to them to say, hey, we've got an idea. because at the heart of all of this, we're an idea factory. Consumers are starting to take notice. Remember, this is a build. And we mentioned last December that this phase 2, which is the year that we're in right now, is really our marketing effort. The effort to date is really focused on 4 key areas: continuing to build relationships with the tourism department and the chambers and other entities in Warren County that we feel benefit, there's a mutual benefit in helping build each other's initiatives. We realized very quickly on, we're all marketers, that we need a promotional element to what we're doing. So we've developed a really nice promotional side to this with a number of promotional campaigns that I'm going to get into in just a second. Social media is very important to us, and a consistent outreach, hence Amanda. And something that I think most of you know that I'm always very concerned about. We love to take the lead creatively. And you know me well enough to know that I'm all about the story of Warren County. That's where this idea came from. It's important to us that we constantly tell this story to engage consumers. They have a number of options about where they can go for their vacations and whatever. Why would they want to come here? It's not about the numbers. It's about the story. And I've said this before, one of the real gratifying things about building this platform is that the collection of all these videos tells the story. Some videos are great. Some are very professionally produced. Some are very amateurish. Some are not so good. It doesn't really make a difference. It's the content. It's this video universe that we're living in. People get a real perception of what the people are like who live here, what the businesses are like who do business here. And that seems to be working really well. We spotted this. And as a result, using our marketing hats, we thought, wait a minute, we want to try to create events year-round that draw people to LakeGeorge.tv. We all know we don't need more traffic on Canada Street in July and August, but what about April and May coming in? What about October, November going out before we get into now what's becoming a very strong winter season for us? Tried and true marketing. We thought to ourselves, let's get out there and let's create a couple of sweepstakes. We'll do 2 major sweepstakes at the show, what we're calling the shoulder season. And if that's successful, then we'll sprinkle that with a number of smaller sweepstakes, giveaways, if you will, that constantly keep us engaged with consumers and entertain them so they have a reason to check with us to see what's going on. Last winter, we created a sweepstakes called Take Flight. This was done in partnership with a lot of the people and the businesses on the platform. It included a scenic plane flight over the Lake George area, overnight stay at the Trekker Resort, this kind of cool place where you can actually stay in a room that's a plane cabin. We had a Take Flight tasting at the High Peaks Distillery. We had a $100 gift certificate at Orvis, and we had tastings at the Adirondack Pub and Adirondack Winery. The reaction really out of the gate, pun intended, was really overwhelming. We had over 1,200 entries. Remember, we're basically a new entity. We had over 1,200 entities. We had over 100,000 impressions promoting local businesses, and we had over 55,000 video plays for the video that we created to promote Take Flight. The winner is a woman in her 60s from downstate, and she's just ecstatic about it. We've gone back and forth a number of times with her. What this says, I hope, is that we're utilizing our skills in conjunction with what we think are the most effective and powerful tools in our community, which is our local businesses and what they have to offer. That's a real win-win benefit. Based on that success, we looked at our overall marketing plan and said, you know what? We are definitely going to do 2 major sweeps a year, and we're going to sprinkle it with some giveaways. We just did our first giveaway just to kind of lead into that 4th of July weekend. And this one is smaller than Take Flight, but it does include admission for 2 to the Adirondack Wine and Food Festival and overnight stay at Fort William Henry. We just wound it up. Again, we were stunned. We have over 1,400 entries. We had over 115,000 impressions and over 65,000 video plays. The winner, by the way, is from the capital region, that 70-mile region. And you know that I talk a lot about, it's wonderful to reach out to the traditional audiences that we know that come here. Let's never ignore the 70-mile radius. One last thing, when we created this last giveaway, in our never-ending effort to be creative, we created these little grape characters because we called the giveaway the Grape Escape. And these little animated characters would walk around on the screen and tell you about all the fun things you could do. And when you come in here into Warren County, we noticed a real reaction to these little animated characters. Light goes on. I know it sounds pretty basic, but you can't underestimate or overestimate the power of being able to entertain people when they think they can laugh or when they can share a joke with you. This is important stuff. And so now we're on the hunt and we're creating an animated character that's becoming the mascot for LakeGeorge.tv. The working title is Buzz Bear. He's this little animated bear. We're working with animators right now to figure out what we can get this little character to do. But we're already thinking to ourselves, we might name it Buzz Bear. What's the buzz in Warren County? We're all over this, including coming up with creating little paw prints that we're going to ask businesses to put in their windows. You know, what I hope is that you'll see that, you know, when we spot something, we jump on it. And we'll have more on Buzz Bear if he survives the second or third round of creativity for our next meeting. Ed and Amanda are going to take you through more detail on some of the things that I've discussed. It's very brief. We're not going to be here long today, but we also will have some time for some questions. So let me turn it over to Ed.
You want to put up the, yeah, there you go. Thank you.
One place.
Yeah, as Jesse said, thanks for letting us come in and give you a quick update on where we are, the progress that we've made through our efforts to advance tourism in Warren County. So one of the key metrics that we have is content growth from platform partners. And so let me see, yeah, there we go. Content is the reason the visitors come to Lake George TV. It's the reason why they go to our platform to learn about the area. And we've had nice steady growth in the number of videos. We're tracking along with our benchmarks per our agreement. And this growth, I think, reflects the efforts of our team and our partners to get the word out there, to let people know about the platform and about all the cool things there are to see and do, and how they can access them through Lake George TV, and also to encourage participation of businesses. Some of the recent actions that we've taken to try to continue this growth of videos and encourage participation is we went up to Bolton. We had a meeting with the chamber. They sent out a blast to all their members. We also did a tour of all the businesses in Bolton that we hadn't hit and didn't have videos from. We went down to Glens Falls. We met with the collaborative. We also met with Advocate to strategize with them on how we can encourage businesses to participate and send us content. We're coordinating with LGRCC to do a lunch and learn session to their members to encourage, again, participation, them to be part of the platform. You know, the content is really what drives this. We met with Nolio Marketing. You know, they build a lot of websites, as folks probably know, for a lot of businesses in the county. So we wanted to meet with them, make sure they understood what we were all about and learn a little bit about them as well, and see where that crossover is, so that, you know, hey, they build websites, they want to drive traffic to the websites, we're a way to do that. So that was a very productive meeting. We went up to Hague. We met with Supervisor Patchett up there. I had a very good meeting in showing him the platform and answering his questions about it. And then we did a tour in Hague and managed to get a couple of videos from the businesses up there in Hague so far. Came down to Queensbury. We did a presentation to the Queensbury Town Board at their workshop, made sure that all of the town board members there knew about the platform and then can go out and speak to that to their constituent businesses out in the community. Then we also did a tour of businesses in Queensbury that we haven't hit yet. We also coupled that with tours in Diamond Point and Lake George. So kind of continuing what we did in year one, as far as just going wherever we can and hit whoever we can and tell them about the platform and encourage their participation. The results of that are nice steady growth and awareness, and about the tourism opportunity that this represents. So, and the logical conclusion of that is growth in the visitor interaction. So users are up, views are up, the interactions are up. Even though the video length is down. So that's an interesting point, because as businesses are getting more savvy, they are sending us shorter videos. They're not sending us minute-long videos because consumers have short attention spans. So instead, they're sending us shorter ones because you can accomplish the same amount in a shorter amount of time. And so the video time length has gone down, but the watch time is up. So that shows us that viewers are more engaged with that content, which is exactly what we want. We've had nice growth of our visitor interactions, nice growth of the engagement, and these are really the dividends from the paid and the social organic social media efforts that we've done with Amanda. It's also from the partner referrals, people putting the posters and the tent cards, including us in the confirmation links of their hotel reservations, things like that, helping to drive traffic to the platform, and also things like the giveaways and the email blasts that we've done as well. So it's proving out it's true that if you build it, they will come, but only if you engage them and if you nurture that relationship. And so, ultimately for us, it's not so much about the interactions, though. It's really about driving people to the partner businesses. That's what this platform is intended to do. It's not just for people to watch videos. It's for people to go to the businesses and get information, to book rooms, to book dinner reservations, to get directions and hours and all of that. So we've had nice growth in our visitor clicks and scans growth. That's the end result of those efforts. Is someone watches a video, gets interested, scans the QR code, goes to the business, or clicks on the link, goes to the business. And so we've had nice steady growth in that. Most of the or really none of the partners can directly track the conversions. That might happen someday, but for any of you that own a business, you probably don't know directly how many people came from this particular source that actually walked into your restaurant and had a meal. But when given the opportunity, the businesses are asking people, and they do report back to us that they have people say to them, "Yeah, I saw you on Lake George TV." So we are definitely getting evidence that we are having a positive impact, and we are in fact driving people in through the doors of these businesses. And that's really what it's all about, is making sure that people are patronizing the businesses. So people are coming to the platform, they're going to our partners. We're always looking at where they're coming from. What we see is that the majority of them are coming from the 3-hour radius. You'll see they're coming from New York, they're coming from Quebec, they're coming from Massachusetts, New Jersey, Connecticut, Vermont. There's smatterings of places like Ohio and other places in there as well. But it is the majority of them coming from that 3-hour radius. That is the target of Warren County tourism. So content is growing, awareness is growing, visitor engagement's growing. We seem to be attracting the right demo. I do want to jump and take a very quick look at the giveaway that Jesse had talked about. And really because, this has to do with visitor exposure. I'm not going to read through the same numbers he did, but the gist of it is that we did 2 campaigns. We exposed businesses and events in Warren County over 200,000 times to potential visitors just in 2 campaigns. And we had over 120,000 plays of the videos that were exposing them to those businesses and to those events. And that's great exposure for the area. It also resulted in thousands of people giving us permission to have an ongoing conversation with them about what they can see and do in Warren County, and to consider coming here as a vacation destination. So hopefully repetition becomes habit, more engagement, more exposure, equals more visitors. As part of that, we also have to have ongoing visitor engagement. So we deployed our first email campaigns. We had over a 50% open rate, which is, for those of you who aren't familiar with email campaigns, that's a really good open rate. And amazingly, we had a 48% click to open rate. So what that means is half the people that got the email opened it, and nearly half of those people then clicked on something. For comparison purposes, we did a paid campaign to a very qualified audience, and they had about a 50% open rate. The click to open rate was 3.7%. Ours was 48%. Past results may not, reflect future results. We hope they do, but that's pretty amazing. So it's very encouraging. in terms of what kind of results we've seen so far. So the visitors are reacting positively. We're always looking at what do the partners think? What are the advertisers? We don't use the term advertisers, we call them partners, but that's what they are. The small businesses, you know, you've got folks like, I don't know, it's somebody like the 1830 Emerson House, you know, small, new, they love it because we provide marketing capabilities that they can't. They just don't have the ability to do social media posts, to be out there on things like streaming video, connected TV platforms. They don't have that kind of reach. They don't have that kind of knowledge. We provide that for them. So they very much appreciate it. Then you've got the bigger events, people like the Adirondack Nationals, who very much appreciate that the board, the supervisors, the committee are supporting them and giving back to them because they know that they bring a lot here and they appreciate that you're giving back to them through this platform. And then you also have, you know, folks in the middle like a lunar fair type of thing. It's a fairly, you know, new thing, but it's a decent sized little event. They appreciate the fact that we are trying to reach consumers in new ways. We're trying to go out where consumers are using streaming video, and we're trying to connect with them in a new way and bring in a new demographic perhaps, as well as expand the amount of existing demographic that comes in. So very positive reactions and really nice solid results that we're seeing. On a personal note, I am a graduate of University of Rochester. University of Rochester's motto is Meliora, which is ever better. And we try to be ever better. We are always looking at what have we learned? What have we learned from this platform? What do the results tell us? What are people telling us? You know, what can we do better? A couple things we've learned is that Google stinks. It's a great way to reach people, but they tend to be unqualified and they don't have a high engagement rate. And just for comparison purposes, people who come in from Google tend to engage on the platform 40–45%. People who find us organically engage 65–75%. People who come in through partner referrals engage 85–95%. So referrals rock. That's the second point. People coming in from tourism, the chambers, people coming in from our partners have a very high engagement rate with this platform. They are watching stuff. They are clicking on stuff. They are going to the businesses. Giveaways work. We found that out. High engagement. It's a great way to make fans, great way to make people excited about the platform. And people love characters, as Jesse said. I won't go into detail about that, but they really do love these characters. Events we already knew drive traffic and engagement. We're continuing to see that still happening. That's what, you know, that answers the question, why come here? The unique events, the unique attractions of Warren County is why come here. You can, no offense, you can go to a hotel anywhere. Looking at Vinny when I say that, you know, yes, he's got a great hotel. He's got a great series of hotels, but you can go to a hotel anywhere. Well, why are you going to come to Warren County? It's the events, it's the attractions, it's the lake, it's the mountains, it's the hiking. Those are the things that really drive people. And that social media continues to be our top cold social engagement medium. That's the way we cold call, essentially, is we use social media to reach out to people that aren't aware of our platform, aren't aware of Warren County, aren't aware of what this area offers. And that's been our top medium, and we continue to invest in that heavily. And on that note, I'm going to turn it over to Amanda so that she can talk a little bit more about our social media strategy. Oh, I can't seem to get the last slide up. Can you maybe take over and see if you can do it?
Oh, thank you. That's it. Thanks, Ed and Jesse. And as Jesse and Ed have said, during phase 2 of Lake George TV, we've been building an audience. We've been building a relationship with people, with potential visitors to the area. And it's really exciting to do this platform because it's something that they've never seen before. They've never seen a connected TV platform. You know, they've never seen an app you can get on your Roku to watch videos about the area to figure out what to do with your kids before you come, or your grandkids. So it's just been really exciting to hear the reactions from people. And by engaging them with campaigns like the giveaways, we're helping them discover things to do in the Lake George area, like the take flight, for instance, a lot of people commented, I didn't know you could take a private flight over Lake George. You know, that was really cool for people, and a lot of people commented, oh, my anniversary is coming up, my wife's birthday is coming up, this would be so amazing to win this, you know, so it was fun to hear from people about how excited they were about that. So we're using entertainment to connect with people and give them a flavor of the area as a whole. And in the past 6 months, we've seen a 40% increase in our social media followers. So that's a great jump from before, being a totally new entity that people don't know yet. You know, we have to explain to them and build that relationship. So that's great to see that continue to grow through both organic and paid posts. So, you know, what does that mean? We're starting to resonate with people, and they're not just coming and sampling the platform, they're coming back. They're coming back to see what else there is, what new videos are there, what new categories, because we're always keeping that fresh. And we're using social media to learn about our demographics, like who's engaged with us and how to engage with them and talk to them. We've seen our audience is mostly women, 35 plus, which doesn't really surprise us because that's usually who's making the decisions when it comes to where you're going to go on vacation. So that's been interesting. The highest engaged age group that we've found on social media is on Facebook, and it's 55 plus. So we're looking at the boomers and, you know, targeting them and talking to them, people with disposable income and time to travel. So that's a great market. And some of the highest engaging posts we had, that's on the slide here. This is our ice cream series that we did. And through this, we highlighted all of the businesses on our platform that have ice cream. And we also mentioned the Lake George area's ice cream trail in that. And, you know, I didn't know how this was going to do, but it really resonated with people. They love ice cream. And the businesses really appreciated it too, and they shared it. And the language they were using when they shared it was interesting. They were saying, we are featured on Lake George TV. Like, we're on TV. So that was really cool to see how the businesses reacted to it. And the exciting thing, to go back to our giveaways, as Jesse and Ed have told you extensively about them, we also had, when people gave us their information, they could opt into having us share the email addresses with partners. So that means the businesses that gave us prizes also got the email addresses that we collected that opted in. So that's another great tool for them and a way for them to continue to reach out to the people who just learned about them that we engaged with. The Grape Escape, that giveaway did fantastic. People commented a lot about the little animated grape characters. So as Jesse and Ed said, that led us to create Buzz Bear, and hopefully he'll make it through the creative process. And you'll see him soon. So I've been working on this for almost a year now, a little short of a year. So it's been just really exciting to see it grow, to see people use it and learn about it and see their reactions. I'm really looking forward to what the next year brings as we continue to learn, you know, test, measure, learn, and improve, and continue to look at what other trends are out there, especially on social media, start leveraging that to attract more people to the platform and get visitors here and through the doors of the businesses. And so going forward, a couple of things we're working on, we're creating a badge for businesses to put on their website or their email marketing that says, you know, featured on Lake George TV or as seen on Lake George TV, and it will link directly to their video. And then also a badge, like a sticker they can put in the window or somewhere physical in their location. So, you know, they also have those two ways of reaching the consumer. So yeah, I'm really excited about what the rest of phase 2 has to bring.
Thanks, Amanda. Okay, that's it. Thank you for letting us come in again, and got some time for questions. Anybody have any questions?
Thank you for a great presentation.
It's good.
But we got a bus bear. Can we add
All right.
a bear? Yes.
Yeah, I hope it shows that we're being very proactive about this. We know it's at stake. We're in it every single day to win it, and we're constantly looking for opportunities and ideas. I would say to any supervisor here, anybody in tourism, that what we ask in return is give us ideas. Go to your businesses in your towns, in your communities. Let them know that they're here. If somebody doesn't know about it, reach out to us. We'll go see them. As I told you, we do these tours. We love going out, and seeing people. Let us know. Okay, thank you.
I think you should add.
You know, I know it sounds silly. It's like, try to stay away from it, but trust me, you'd have to be in the eyes of the consumer, And if it engages them and entertains them and keeps them locked to us, we're good with it. So,
I think you should add Heather Bear.
Heather Bear.
Another bear.
No, someone to, be the other side of bus.
All right, we have no referrals. We'll open the privilege to the floor and public. Gina?
I just wanted to bring, we talked about this Arco tool and, because we've added more data, maybe too much, as Mr. commented last month. But what I have for you is, a look back on March to May. What were our average hotel stays? What was the average short-term rental, the average ADR, the average daily rates, as well as the length of stays and other information. So that's going back from March to May. And then I have the look ahead on pre-bookings. This is the new data that we added to our Zartico. So this will show you June to August as advanced bookings, and especially from a treasurer standpoint and planning ahead, as well as, from a marketing standpoint, where are people coming from for their advanced bookings. It will be very helpful. And I know Heather had talked about, as she's planning ahead and looking ahead for future dollars. So I will distribute both of these on both sides of the table to be helpful, so that, and I noted that you'll know the difference. So where we are, we have had, the advanced bookings have not been as strong, just in all honesty, and this will show that, the data will show that. And we'll pass around the extras to others in the room. So I just wanted to give you that. Some people asked last month about Belmont. Belmont really hit exit 18 and parts of 19 and branded hotels. And at the very end, a lot of rooms were dumped, meaning that they were canceled because not everybody could get tickets. So Naira opened up the floodgates the day of. So if they said it was sold out at 50,000 people, there were 65,000 people at the race. So, and even people who had short-term rentals said their rentals didn't even hit the market until the Derby. You know what I mean, in terms of that advanced booking. So now with this pre-promotion and how exciting it was to be in Saratoga, we'll all be doing more advanced marketing on that, to know that there is, tickets are available, because that word was out that, the scalpers had all the tickets, and then the days leading up to it, the tickets got less, the cost of them. So, but we had, at our board meeting last week, we talked about with our partners, and many of them said at the last minute, some rooms got dumped on the market, even in Saratoga, that had them all as booked and sold out. And just because people thought they didn't have tickets. So that was like a quick summary, but really April and May group business really pulled it off for that quarter. There's group business all around the market. That's that underbelly that you don't really see as much. I mean, we see events on the weekends, but we've had midweek corporate and association bookings. We've had a lot of, the weddings are really that an underbelly of that group booking. They're a little bit smaller. Weddings have gotten smaller, but their price points have gone up in terms of their expenditures. So that's just that kind of bodes well into, so that you can see where we're looking ahead and who is actually spending their money here. I liked his pie chart, that showed that, the Quebec market is coming back strong. They're looking at us and they're coming back strong. So we need that. Six Flags needs it, all of our larger attractions need that for that summer business that helps them. So just wanted to toss that out there.
All right, thank you. Any question for Gina real quick? All right, Amy, anything about Glens Falls?
No, just quickly,
We had our first mermaid festival last weekend. And I'm not sure how the mermaids associated with Warren County and the area, but it was a hit, and even in the rain. So you never know about what event's gonna really take off. And I wanted to say thank you to Mark Donahue for coming. He's not here, but also Lyrac fell on the same weekend as Belmont. So we looked at some figures as well. And Saturday at Lyrac was, one of the best days they've had in a very long time. The Warren County Coalition meeting too happened in Glens Falls this past week with Tyler Herrick is now the president of the coalition. So it was a wonderful collection of the entire county and how we can all collaborate to really improve events. Take a bite, we're in our season of events, and that will start July 10th. I'm also a interim superintendent, and I look at recreation economy a lot. Ethan Gaddy gave me this recently. I've read this and how we get all those spokes in the wheel. I talk a lot about that. And how important rec tourism is. Tourism comes in so many shapes and sizes. Even the Glens Falls Hospital is a tourism destination, not one that you want to visit, but it is interesting who comes into those facilities. So thank you for all your support for Glens Falls, and I look forward to a great sunny season. The rain, let's get rid of the rain. All right, thanks.
All right, anybody else? I want to thank everybody for coming. It's one of the best meetings we've had in a long time. A lot of cooperation, a lot of new type of news, and everything's moving well. So can I get a motion to adjourn? Mr. Strainer, Mr. Rossi. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.